what you think is like kind of the nuance of film.
Film, and it's one thing that I love about working at Sports Visio is we can make film.
Too. Every kid learns differently. Some are going to do it visually.
That's really where we hope to help coaches is we want to save them time. We want to get them out of what you're describing. There's really interesting is the style of visual learning is changing from
All right, welcome to Coach Unplugged. Sean, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Talked once. This one's going to be, I know the last one was really visual, so I'll put the links down below. I put it on my YouTube channel and those kind of things. So that was kind of a more visual and you kind of walking me through Sports Visio a little bit. But today will be more, if you're out for a jog or on that commute, you're going to be able to maybe listen to it a little bit easier. But Sean, why don't you introduce yourself again to the audience and just kind of tell us a little bit about your kind of basketball background.
Sounds good. Well, thanks, Steve, for having me. Appreciate it. I'm Sean O'Connor. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Sports Visio. And probably more importantly for your audience, I've spent my entire life in sports and in youth sports. I grew up out in Washington State playing football in the fall, basketball in the winter, baseball as soon as the snow melted, and then everything all summer. I moved to Ireland about 12 years ago, and I tell people in many ways I traded, American sports for European sports with my
Right.
kids. We spent a ton of time in soccer or football, as we call it in Ireland, and then more recently in basketball. So lifelong basketball
But
fan.
not related to basketball, zero related to basketball. Did you have relatives by your last name? Because my mom's maiden name was Mary Margaret McCormick. So
Mhm.
there's some Irish in me. Did you move because you are an O'Connor and you have relatives, or did you move to Ireland for a different reason?
We didn't move for that reason, but I
Okay.
tell you,
Okay.
it made it easier.
Yeah.
Microsoft moved me over there.
Okay.
We had a great run. We're
Yeah.
now citizens, so being an O'Connor makes it a little easier to integrate, I'd
I
say.
know. My mother-in-law's maiden name's O'Connor too. So there's some,
Okay,
but I'm
there are a
also a
few of
math
us.
teacher. I'm also a math teacher. And when you do the math on how much Collins is actually an Irish name too. So Collins and McCormick, my mom and dad. But when you go
Mhm.
back, I'm really only about 20% Irish. It's an
Very good.
exponential growth thing because
It is.
German, yeah, it's like unless you
Some
stay
of
and
our
never
best friends
leave.
are
Yeah.
some of our best friends are McCormick, so those are good
Okay.
names.
That's a great name. It's a great name. Yeah, the McCormicks like to have a good. I don't think any of my cousins or anything listen to this, but they definitely like to have a good time.
They
Um,
do.
and my son studied over there, so we got to go to the. I'd never been to Ireland, so we got to go, and then got to go to the Guinness Brewery. Might be the smartest lease ever signed by Guinness Brewery. I think I saw that lease. It's what is it
I'd
like
say it was a pretty
10
good business deal there.
10,000 year lease. It's something crazy, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like, but anyway, it
it
was
is.
fun. It was nice to go. Other than the driving and me having to drive on quote unquote the wrong side of the road, it was
Yeah, you get takes you about 2 weeks and you get used to it.
it took me a week. By the end of the
Yeah.
trip, I was good, and everybody in the car felt much better with me driving after the week.
Mhm.
But it's the first a lot of roundabouts. You have lots of
Yep,
roundabouts too.
it is. Yep. Use your bunker.
Yes, lots of roundabouts. All right, so tell me about game film. Why game film? Like, there's AI is the thing right now from someone that's been deep diving into it this summer for my
Mhm.
teaching and my coaching. Um, so why game film? Why was this the spot you went toward?
For sure. So my background's multi-sport. I coach soccer teams. I coach basketball. I played American football. But really going back to my time at Gonzaga Prep High School out in Spokane, Washington, Mondays were film days. And I just grew this insane love for watching film. Most of those sessions were positive. Some of the sessions when I didn't play well were hard to get to, and they were direct and they were honest. I look back at those days and I think how hard it must have been for the coaches. All they had, well, it was simple. Like all they had was VHS. They had one VHS film. They hit play, they'd rewind, you'd watch the play over and over until they could dissect it thoroughly. and then you'd move to the next one. We sat in that classroom for 90 minutes on Mondays. I just looked through every play. I loved it. I'm sure some of my friends probably hated it. Some of the kids were falling asleep in the back if they didn't get into game time. But I love film, and it's one thing that I love about working at Sports Visio is we can make film digestible.
Right.
Being able to use AI to clip it up, the tools available for modern coaches, and we'd probably get into this, but there's so many ways that coaches can storytell. And really, to kind of sum it up, it's the best development tool that coaches have access to if it's used appropriately.
Okay. So there's a couple things. First of all, from a high school teacher, we are in a visual world. We are
Hmm.
like
Yep.
just come into a high school and lets them use their phones, and you can see we're in a visual world. Um, that they want to be able to look at it. I'll tell you a story about why I think sports physio is so great. Is my wife, first of all, I got married and my wife never knew me as not a head coach. I got the head coaching job right before we got married, summer before, but the fall before. And
Mhm.
uh her first memory of me is we were in a small little apartment, and I had like four VHS tapes or five VHS players going, and I was literally clipping things onto VHS tapes for the players and then sending it
Mhm.
home to that so they could watch it. And we couldn't afford the fancy, the thing that you could do it. Anyway, the amount of film that I broke down probably in the first 10 years of my coaching career, it's crazy. I mean, I'm surprised. The best thing that ever came out was, the places that broke film down for you, because it saved my
Yep.
it didn't save my marriage, but it's like sure made it a lot better because I wasn't spending from 10 o'clock at night until 1 in the morning breaking, a 2 hour game down to 30 minutes so I could show it to the guys. And then also
Yeah.
figuring out how to beat it. It's like, yes. And I think that's where AI is going to come into play so much.
It's a massive amount of work. There's this great YouTube video of Bill Belichick. He's probably on ESPN, but he's literally cutting up film, cutting it up with scissors, taping it to the table, literally like taping it together and then recreating that reel that he would have done. And it is like it's a mad amount of work to do it that way.
So so explain, film and what you think is like kind of the nuance of film. I mean, I know what I think it is, but what does Sports Visio do with it, first of all? But what do you think, kind of is that sweet spot with film?
Mhm. Yeah, there's two different questions there. Sports video, we want to empower coaches to do with it as they see fit. For some coaches, it's just they need a chance to watch it back. There's so many things as a coach that you miss during a game. The ability to watch it back. Our app allows coaches to fast forward 1 second, 3 second, 10 second, and to do the same thing going back. So really easy on your phone. Go back, go back, go back. Skip forward through, the dead ball. That's that. So we want to empower coaches to use it as they see fit. Uh, for me, it's about storytelling. How can coaches use film to tell a story to really enhance their players' development? For some players, that may be the enjoyment of the sport. Like, how do they get more out of it? For other players, how does that help them improve to get to the next level?
Right, right. And so explain how that kind of works. Like you're saying that if I'm watching the film, it's kind of like when I'm listening to a podcast, I can say fast forward 30 seconds. It's
Mhm.
like you just can click a
Yep.
button and move it. So it's easier for them to watch. Um, is that what you're saying about the sports
Yeah,
visio part? Yeah.
that's how we built the game viewer in the app. You can
Okay.
watch the game at 1.5 speed, very similar to a podcast. You watch it 2x speed if you're really good,
Yeah.
and then you can zoom around quickly. So
I,
just as we would have done back in the
right.
classroom at Gonzaga Prep, you hit
Yeah.
rewind 3 seconds, watch the play again.
I uh I obviously I do podcasts, but I love listening to podcasts too. And I can't get to two speed. I can get to like maybe 1.75 sometimes, but I don't know. I don't know if my brain can't
Yeah, I'm with
digest it
you.
enough. It's
1.5 is perfect for me.
Yeah, don't you think? It's enough that I can save
Yeah.
some time, but um so what do you think it does for what do you think the nuance is between the difference between what it does for coaches and what it does for players? Because there's two audiences here kind of that are
Mhm.
using this. What do you think the differences are?
For sure. So I think coaches. they need the full game. They want to be able to watch the full game back. They also want to be able to sort through and say, let's take a look at all of our turnovers against this team, or let's take a look at all the 3 pointers we made, or in the future, we're going to have action oriented clips. So let's take a look at all of our pick and rolls. Let's take a look at every specific action. We're really excited to get to a point where coaches can identify or even share like these are the actions we're running and we want to see all those. So to be able to do that really quickly to sort and filter.
So explain what
Again,
that means. Like, so let's say I have a play, I call it blue, and
mhm.
we run it 4 times. You're saying you're hopefully down the line, you're going to be able to just go find all my blue plays, like, or whatever it
it'll
is.
take it'll take you telling us what blue is in the
Okay.
future. So if you tell us what it is, maybe verbally, probably visually, then we'll be able to identify when that series or sequence happens in the game. And you'll be able to say, hey, hopefully in natural language one day, but right now,
Right.
just through click
No,
and
hopefully
filter,
my guys, I'm
show me.
laughing because I'm saying hopefully my guys run it well enough that I could say this is
Yeah,
the clip it should look like. It
I
might be
would
a
take that.
practice clip. It might be a practice clip too. I'm thinking long term. Me as the coach, it's like, oh, we ran in prep. Maybe I could send you this is what blue should look like. And
Mhm,
then the sports physio or whatever can anything that kind of it can maybe find anything that kind of resembles it. That would be, oh my gosh, I would love that. Because
mhm.
I would use it for
Yeah,
scouting, I think. I
yep.
would, you know what I mean? I think it
Big
would,
scouting implications.
yeah, huge scouting implication because it'd be
Mhm,
like, okay, this team runs these 3 big sets. Find them all for me in the last six
mhm.
games, and then I can say because kids will watch those clips. If you never watch, I mean,
Mhm.
they watch. They don't. I don't know if they watch NBA games anymore, but they watch a lot of NBA clips.
They they do. They do. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of this can be, some of it will be done in a classroom setting. Some of it will be done on the court, but we see a lot of it being done asynchronously as well. And what I mean by that is simply a coach sending clips out over text, over WhatsApp, over email, and then the player consuming that on their own time. I spent a lot of time with the Irish Super League teams. It's a semi-pro top league in Ireland, time with the players, time with the coaches, and they loved that ability. They don't get as much time probably as you do with your high school team. They get 2, 3 sessions a week, but to be able to send out highlights from an opponent, to send those out over WhatsApp, and then players can consume those in their own time. I think that's one of the player implications. The other one that players talk most about is they just want to watch their best plays before the game. And so whether it's on the bus or in the locker room, let me kind of create my own mixtape here. Let me watch my 3 pointers. Let me watch those, my best assists or whatever the play is based on position for visualization and just for their own confidence.
Well, it's kind of like me sending them some Spark Notes or Cliff Notes or a
Mhm,
study table. I'm using it as a teacher kind of analogy here. It's like, all right, here's their, I mean, again, 20 years ago, I was doing it on paper. Now I'm kind of doing it on clips, but it's like, here's their major offense, here's their major
mhm.
defense, here's their out of bounds play. So, and rather than, like you said, watching 2 hours worth, that I can get it down to 5 minutes maybe, and they can,
Yep.
when they should be doing their English homework, they pull out their phone and they're doing it. But something like that. No,
Mhm,
I think that's a great use of just from a teaching standpoint. It's because everyone, and you're right. It's like I've had this discussion with other coaches too. Every kid learns differently. Some are going to do it visually.
mhm,
Some are going to do it better in the classroom. Some are going to do it better physically, like actually on the floor, walking through how I'm going to defend it. So it's like you're trying to add, this is adding to the toolbox that helps you, makes you a better teacher, because any good coach is a good teacher, in my opinion.
mhm.
Um,
Yep. How much more visual do you think your players are today than they were 10 years ago? Has that changed or
oh,
is it the
huge,
same?
more, much more. I still think the actual physical part, there's part of the kids that
Mhm,
need the tactile, um, here's what the ball screen looks like, and here's how I got to hedge on it, or I got to fight over it. They got to actually do it. But the thing is, what's nice is when you can do that part of it, and then you can show them the visual part. I would say the least amount is the paper read it, I go
Hmm.
here, there, there. We
Yep.
still give it to them because there's probably about 10% of them that like that, like here's our play and here's what it should look like. But the other 90% are either doing it or seeing it on video. But I would say
Mhm.
it's much more, it's doubled at least in the last 10 years. Thank you,
Okay. Yeah, I
TikTok
think they're
and Instagram. And
exactly. I've studied learning a lot, and I think there are three types of learners. It's the audio learners, the visual learners, and then the kinetic learners.
yeah,
The kinetic probably doesn't change; it probably only increases. I think the what you're describing there is really interesting. Is the style of visual learning is changing from visual reading to
yes,
like movement
yes.
visual and
And I'm
video.
not sure auditory. I mean, I think maybe. I mean, I haven't, that's I mean, obviously we do that during practice and I'll leave them things, but that's probably the least one I lean on is the just
Mhm,
auditory. Um, I think coaches talk too much as it is. I think kids learn better by not talking at them.
mhm. Yep.
But I'm sure I'm missing some. I'm sure some trickle through the cracks that if I was just auditory with them, they'd be better. But
Yep.
um, yeah, I think that's so anything else player wise that you think this kind of leans into?
There are a lot of things that we're thinking about longer term. I mean, right
Okay.
now it's all about making it short and concise. One of the things that we're working on, we'd love to see in the future is more of a TikTok style video where coaches can annotate on top of the video and stitch together sequences that could be swiped through. And so the ability to kind of swipe through clips and to curate those film sessions really for your players, whether they're on the bus. Right
Right.
now they're static where we'll build it and it'll be 60 or 90 seconds. But to be able to have it where it's more kind of flick style is something that we see is the future of this.
Okay. And what is the turnaround right now on film? You said it's like 24 hours, 48 hours. What is it?
So we're next morning for the
Next
most
morning.
part. So you wrap up the game in the evening. As long as we get that film in a timely manner, our goal is to get that to you. So when you sit down at your desk in the morning before that first class, or when you have time to game plan, maybe it's at lunchtime, practice plan, that you have that film and it's ready to go.
Yeah. It's got to be interesting with the amount of types of film you get from, from the
We
grainy to the shaky to the their ball's over there and it didn't get it to the yeah.
we see it all, and we're really committed to being how film and partner agnostic. So we can work with all the big camera providers
Right.
to the assistant coach on the sideline with an iPad or a
To the
phone
shaky
who's just panning
to
it
the
back and
shaky
forth.
grandma who's excited at the
Yes,
end of the game. I know it's that.
exactly. That's the hardest. I definitely recommend a tripod. It's a good
Yes,
investment.
I know. It is. You would think everyone would have one at this point. What do you think the biggest obstacle for coaches with film is? What do you think my biggest pain point is?
I mean, time and prioritization, I think, is everyone's biggest obstacle. You have limited time in your day. How are you going to spend it, and how are you going to maximize the impact of that time, whether it's for planning practices or game planning for the next opponent and all that. And so I think it's time, and that's really where we hope to help coaches, is we want to save them time. We want to get them out of flipping up film, trying to find that moment to a point where a couple clicks and they filtered in and they found that one play that they want to focus on. Maybe it's a sequence of plays, one that went really well, one that was really close and just missed, and maybe one that was total miss where your guys were out of position where they didn't run the set as you wanted them to.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I was gonna say time. I would say like because a lot of people listening to this is not what they I'm not well, an NBA professional coach, or I'm not like this is not what I do
Mhm.
for a living per se. So
Yep.
I've got my job and then I've got this and I've got a family and I maybe like to sit down and have dinner with my, there's things you'd like
Mhm.
to do and you want to also be good at what you're doing. So it's saving time and energy. Like the story I was telling you is like that's one of the biggest things. Um, and how do you know that you're using film? What do you think the key component to using film correctly is? Like how do I, you know, what's the obstacles? What's the issue with film?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it can't. You can send it out and you can check in if your players are watching it. I think that's one way to do it. The best way to do it is to have a real coaching discussion and to open up the conversation. Like, hey, players, what do you see here? And then they're engaged, they're volunteering, they're calling it out as they see it. So I love as a coach to ask the questions to open up the discussion, and in those sessions being less directive. You may end directive, like you may close it out with, "Hey, here's how we're going to do this next time." But I think if you can open it up with the right questions and get them leaning into it, that's how I measure engagement. Is are they participating?
Right. I mean, from someone that's run film sessions, it's either got to be, I mean, when I do the majority of the talking, it's less than 5 minutes. Like if I'm gonna,
Mhm.
because
Yep.
sometimes we're time, there's time constraints, and we got to do a quick film session. It's like do done. But I getting them in
Mhm.
and out, and it's very fast. The longer film sessions and the ones that I like better are the ones in which we're talking. It's like, all right, what should we have done here? And then boom, it's just like a classroom. It's like, all right, let's watch this
Mhm. Yep.
clip. We'll replay it 3 times. And then the way I run my film sessions, they've got a notebook. So, I'll say, write down what you think, and then we'll have a discussion about it. It's like,
Mhm. Yep.
so again, I'm trying to get them to process. It's like, we should have done this. And it's like, and then I have their notebooks because their notebooks stay in my classroom. So then I can page through and go, "Ooh, are we close or are we close?" Because
Mhm.
this one only 10 out of the 15 really got what we were kind of talking about before. Um, but I think that's a key component to it. What's been the hardest part for sports physio? What's been the
I mean,
obstacle?
the hardest part is prioritization. We built Sports Visio, we built our current app for players. It
Right.
was primarily for adult players. And as we've started talking to coaches, they said, well, it's interesting for this, it's interesting for that, but I need it on my PC. I need it on my desktop. I want it on my computer so that I can cut it up. And so getting that feedback from coaches, and Steve, even from you, like you had 10 ideas for us the first time you saw this. Can you do this? Can you do that? And so with a limited team and really relatively small team, a great team, it's prioritization. How do we build the right things at the right time? How do we help with the use cases? And I come back to time. Like our goal is to save coaches time. We want coaches spending more time with their players, more time instructing, more time doing the work that they love to grow their talent, and less time doing the manual analytics that probably just isn't fun and isn't rewarding.
No, I mean, I think it's use case too. It's one of the things that sometimes irritates me about education is sometimes the people that are like me, who's in the front line, they're not asking me what's working, what's not working. It's like,
Yeah.
this is working. Let's lean into this. This is not
Mhm.
working. Let's not do this. It's like, because
Do less of that.
yeah, it's like, and that's what I think I love about sports videos. You guys are listening to kind of like the boots on the the boots on the ground, because to be honest with you, it's like what we all, I mean, what I'm thinking is probably what 100 other coaches are thinking too. It's like, man, that's why I asked about turnaround. That's why I asked about, can I get this? Can I get this? Because it's like that's what makes my life easier, and you're solving a problem for me. you know
Mhm. Yeah.
um and that's yeah, I mean, trust me, from someone that does a lot of different things, it's hard narrowing the topics. Like otherwise you're just,
Yeah.
it's I always refer to it as the dog from Up. It's like squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. You're always like, and you're not solving any problems, you're always kind of running after the next squirrel. That doesn't help you. um but I think that's a great thing. What's been the most satisfying thing?
I mean, personally, to be honest, it's seeing my kids use the app. Like I have 4 kids. They're 6 to 16. The oldest ones are playing super competitively, and they love to get in there and see their highlights. Like, hey, Dad, look at this 3-pointer. Dad, look at this
Right.
this assist I had, and we do that, and then we go and all right, let's look at the things that could have gone better. So, and to me, to be able to work on something that my family gets to use and enjoy as well has been personally satisfying.
So dive into that. The
But
difference between the 6-year-old and the 16. Like, explain how the difference usage of that would be. That's interesting.
well, the 6-year old doesn't play
Yeah,
basketball
yeah,
competitively yet, so
yeah,
she's
yeah.
not into it. But
Okay.
the older ones are 16, 14, and 12, and they
Okay.
all do. And I think they all, probably operate at a reasonably similar level of interest. Like they want to see the things they did well. They want to be able to share their highlights with their friends. They want to be able to go in and let's look at this clip, let's look at that clip. They also love the AI game summaries that we're doing. We're taking the box score as well as the game flow, and we're putting that into 3 paragraphs that's entertaining and informative. They get that over email when their games are done, and they love seeing that. They love
It-
reading back through that.
I'm sure they do. And is it just about them or is it about the team?
It's at a team level
Okay.
today.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can they can they share stuff right now? Like after a game, will it give them the ability to share stuff on like Instagram or stuff or not? Or they have
Mhm.
to take the clip
Yep.
and then do it? Is there a
So
button to
either
do
way,
that?
so they can there's a button to share directly to Instagrams
Okay.
or TikTok or wherever
Okay.
they want to share it. They can also save their clips to their device and then stitch them together as they want.
And is the are all everything's in the cloud, so it's not necessarily on their phones at this point. But if they want it, they can
Exactly.
have it. Yeah. So
Yep.
when they get that
Yep.
first dunk, they can save it. Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
For future generation. Yeah. I have no way of proving that I could dunk the ball anymore. I don't know. Maybe there's
I
some
think I
real.
have a number of sub 6 foot point guards on my family team, so there probably won't be many dunks in the future, but we'll see.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of science behind. Again, there's a little. You'd have to work at it really hard, but
Yep.
you'd get close.
Yep.
It'd be more the palming and stuff, I think.
Hands. Yep.
It's the
Yep.
hands. That's what I it was all that was always the issue with me. Girls ball was not a problem.
Hmm.
28.5 wasn't a problem. All right.
Yep.
Is there anything else you'd like to share? I have one more question at the end that has nothing to do with basketball that I want to ask you, but
Okay.
uh is there anything else you want to share about sports physio?
Yeah, I mean, we're really committed to the coach audience. We're building this based on feedback from coaches. It'll be available in time for the fall or winter season. So internationally, teams are starting up in September. Coach mode will be ready for them by September. For American high school teams, this is really an important audience for us. We'll be ready to roll in November. So we're committed to this. We need the feedback. So I'd say if people get their hands on it and start using it, just reach out directly. We're a small team. We're super agile, and we'd love to build something that really helps coaches save time and ultimately win more games.
Yeah, and we'll put the link down below if you're watching this on YouTube or we'll make sure you get connected. We'll put your contact information in there too. All right, so the non-basketball one. Have you watched any Gaelic football?
We watch a lot of Gaelic football.
I know. And so
It's
explain to the audience what that is. It's an interesting I don't think a lot of
yeah,
people in the
it's
States know.
I wouldn't be an expert, but my understanding of Gaelic football and what I see, especially from an athlete perspective, is it's really a volleyball-like ball. It's a little
It
heavier, but
is.
it's about the same size as a volleyball. It's this interesting combination from a skill perspective. If you're good at basketball, you've got the hands. There's actually a little bit of dribbling. If you played soccer, like you do a lot of that. So it's a game that's played with both hands and feet. It's played on a pitch that's bigger than an American football field. You get there's a point and a goal. You get 1 point for kicking it through the uprights. You get 3 points for kicking it inside the goal. There is a goalkeeper, so
It's a
it's
little and
fast
there's a little bit of rugby-ish kind of thing too. A little
for
bit. And
sure. Yeah,
yeah.
there's some funny rules, right? You can't tackle, but you can shoulder. It's super physical, but there's some things you can't do. So
Yeah.
it's a great sport, and it's definitely in season in Ireland in the summer.
Right. And it's like I mean, people in the States don't. I mean, he doesn't really show up on ESPN very often. So it's like,
No,
I know.
no, it's a cousin to Aussie rules football. So there's some
Yes,
similarities there and some crossover.
it is. Anyway, so go look it up, people that are listening to the podcast.
Indeed.
There's my that's my golden nugget for you because I talked to a coach maybe 3 or 4 years ago about that, and somehow this came up, and it's like I've become the sport's been around like 150 years or something. It's like it's not like
Yeah.
it just they just
Oops.
invented it. Like
The national game, yeah.
it might be one of the most
And
popular
it's
in Ireland, huh? Is it?
It
Or
is. It
yeah,
is. It is. Ireland is sport obsessed between rugby and soccer and Gaelic sports,
yeah,
basketball,
yeah.
hockey. Like there's all kinds of sport.
It's a little bit of everything. Well, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate you being on. I really do.
Thanks, Steve.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Great to
Yep.
chat.